So.
Howdy folks, and welcome to a new way of doing Mingles with Jingles.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, before we...
Yeah.
The green screen, do we need lights? Because look at the difference in the greens. Can we actually edit that?
I have no idea. I guess we'll find out when I come to edit.
Okay.
And stick stuff up on the green screen.
Alright.
This may end up being a complete and total disaster.
Wow.
I might have to just do a traditional episode of Mingles with Jingles anyway, but I'm doing this, I mentioned this in last week's episode, because I'm just finding it a real struggle to find stuff to talk about with, you know, how many days has it been now? 5 weeks?
Yes, it's been going on for a while.
I mean, I occasionally get to leave the house to go and do some shopping. But because I ordered right at the start of the epidemic, I made a I ordered a delivery from the supermarket, and all available delivery slots were fully booked for the next 4 weeks. So it arrived like last week, so I didn't need to go and do any shopping, and I haven't been out of the house now in about 2 weeks, but you haven't been out of the house, aside from going into the garden, in a month and a half?
Yes, yes. The furthest I've gone out of the house was outside of the entrance door, because I like
to shout at some kids.
Well, that too. They're trying to destroy property.
Just kids doing kid things.
Yes, and it was because I like to clean my door flaps every day for the mailman. As bad as that sounds.
You noticed that, did you?
Yes. The letterbox opener thingy. Yes.
Yeah, letterbox. Yeah, that's good. What's this cat up to? She's going for some cat grass. No, there she goes. Yeah, okay, right. Anyway, so you sort of, I don't know, would you call this a podcast or a vlog?
I don't know. Never done anything like this.
Whatever the kids are calling it these days. New format for Mingles with Jingles. Trying it out for today. I don't expect to be doing this every week, but why, thank you. Something new. Speaking of something new, those of you who follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
Oh yeah.
Discord.
You're becoming an Instagram tot even. I'm so proud of you.
I've been getting a lot of modelling done. Not so much the modelling, but the painting. You're more into the whole building stuff.
Yes.
You've been building that tortoise I've got you.
Yes. It's
been emotional, hasn't it?
It's been eventful. It's been eventful. The suspension system is one of the most painful things I've done.
Seriously, I would not have the patience for it. I don't know why I'm looking at the monitor. I should be looking at the camera. Yeah, but see, this is why after I did the KV2 diorama, my plan was to do a North African desert diorama, because I've got a Vickers machine gun crew, I've got a German captured Daimler Dingo Mark II, Africa Core colours, I've got a 6-pounder anti-tank gun, I've got a universal carrier, and I've got, from Mini Art, a selection of figures, British 8th Army and German Africa Corps, in hand-to-hand combat. So I was going to do a diorama of the North African desert. I've got, you know, desert flock and all kinds of stuff ready to do it. And, you know, I was going to get it all painted up, do a nice, you know, Battle of Tobruk style diorama. And the wood base, as you saw, if those of you who saw it in the KV2 diorama, I've got some actually pretty damn expensive, really nice wood. But it started warping.
Very quickly.
Very quickly. I mean, even before I started applying glue to it, and people were saying, yeah, well, you know, you've wet it, so it's warping in the direction, in the side that's... And that obviously didn't help. But it started warping within 2 days, even though I was storing it in a nice, cool, dry place. So I was having to put a kettlebell on top to try and weigh it down. But so anyway, a number of people said that plywood's the way to go. So I've ordered some plywood, but... Well, I ordered it 2 weeks ago. They haven't even dispatched it yet because, you know...
There is prioritization going now with the Royal Mail.
Yeah.
So first need goods like food and so on, they get shipped first, and then secondary things will ship later. I don't know as far as it goes for other areas, but here they don't even give us a date when things will be arriving. And when they do give us a date, usually arrives a week, 2 weeks later anyways, so...
So anyway, long story short, the wooden plywood base hasn't arrived, so I can't do the North African desert diorama. Which isn't so bad because I'm not such a fan of building the models as I just like painting them. So when you eventually, like 4 months from now, finish the tortoise, I'll paint and weather it for you. But what I have been doing, and again I've been putting work in progress pictures.
Yes.
Rita really likes this one.
You need to do more of those jingles.
This is young Jingles.
Shut up.
That's
Oh, yes.
yeah. So I did that this weekend.
I mean, show the muscles on the back. That's the
muscles on the back.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, she likes that one. Can't imagine why. So did that for Rita. Very, very happy with that. Never done skin. I mean, I've always been pretty bad at doing skin. Just have a look at some of the other stuff that I've painted.
No, if you think about it, that's my own personal version of having lolly figures.
Yeah.
in my room.
She. I'm not going to comment. But yeah, so there's that, and I've basically just been cracking out them. I don't take long to paint them either.
No, you are very fast.
It's like you watch somebody doing a painting live stream, and they'll take 2 hours to do the face, and I just crack them out. Like that took 2 days.
Took me an hour to do one tortoise suspension, and you were already half done.
Well, I say it took me 2 days. It took me a day, and then an hour to attach his beard braids and do the definition and highlighting around his scars, and then do the weathering on the leather straps. Well, it took maybe 2 hours to do that. So just over a day it took me to do that. So yeah, I don't mess around. I thought we'd get started by taking a look at the latest gaming news. Unsurprisingly, it's been a very slow news week in games as well. Obviously the big one, Fallout 76, the Wastelanders.
Yes.
Wastelanders patch, which and the Steam edition. So if you've got Fallout 76, the Wastelanders patch is free. It's a free patch basically if you already own the game. But you can link your Bethesda.net account to Steam and for free get the Steam edition, so you never have to log into Fallout 76 through the Bethesda launcher again.
There are actually a lot of people having issues connecting the accounts. I'm one of them.
Well, of course there are. It's Bethesda.
But I think there's a limit date for that, so
well,
do it as fast as possible.
Yeah. So apparently Fallout 76 now has a mostly positive review score on Metacritic. I'm not too sure about that because I thought, well, you know, I've got Fallout 76. A year ago when it came out, you got it, streamed it.
Over a year ago, wasn't
Over
it
a year
2018? Yeah, already.
Yeah, that's right. It was like November 2018, wasn't
yeah.
it? So, and I thought, well, because we don't have a lot of games that we both like that we can play cooperatively together, and we both loved Fallout 4. So I thought, how bad can Fallout 76 be?
Yeah.
Jeez. So anyway, you know, they basically, because, and I said this in last week's Mingles with Jingles, Bethesda are famous for doing bug-ridden games, but we let them get away with it because the scope, the just sheer ambition and the size of the game worlds and the story and the characters and everything about it is so ambitious and usually pretty good. So how they had the idea of taking all of that out, so all you're left with is the bugs, slap some multiplayer onto it, which I don't think anybody was asking for, and there you go, new Fallout game. So the Wastelanders patch puts quests, non-player characters, you know, all the stuff that you actually tolerate the bugs for, puts it back in.
Basically how can I say this in English? They were actually trying to get into the Battle Royale bandwagon which is so easy to monetize and it's so easy to make money nowadays off as as a product. And they completely disregarded what people wanted from the start, which was Fallout 4 with friends, and they tried to make it into a more PvP kind of thing. And then when it was too late, they realized that we actually don't want to PvP. We would just want, like I said, Fallout 4 with friends.
You want to be able to do the quests with friends.
Exactly.
But there weren't any quests, so all you basically did was run around and starve to death when you take a 15-minute phone call.
And all of this, it's stuff that they have said in interviews recently. They wanted to make a battle royale out of Fallout 76, and they actually even have a battle royale mode nowadays that they are trying to push into Fallout 76. Like, no thank you.
Well, last week I downloaded and installed it, all like 56 gigabytes of it, and had a go. And within, how can I put this? When I left Vault 76, right, so you've literally just done the character creation, and I left the vault, and I remembered that much from the first time I played it, and then straight away there's 2 NPCs standing outside, and I thought, fantastic, an actual quest and people to talk to. And they told me some stuff and blah blah, whatever, not important. And then I went down the steps leading from the vault entrance, and there was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. On a sort of small plateau, just literally outside the vault, there were like 40 little orange and red dolls, all arranged in a big semicircle, facing a bigger version of the doll with some kind of machine in front of it and a big sign behind it. I can't remember what it said. I'm vaguely remembering it. And I thought, what the hell's this? Something new. It wasn't there, the first time I played the game. So I went to take a look and immediately started getting shot at by those Chinese...
The commie robots.
Communist Chinese robots.
Yeah.
So I'm getting killed and I have a pipe pistol with 8 shots. So good going on, new player game balancing experience, Bethesda. Started shooting at them, realised that there was a little shack just slightly up the hill, ran into it, fell through the world, reappeared exactly where I was, except all of the little dolls and the plateau that they were on was gone.
We're gone.
It just wasn't there anymore, as if it had never been. I thought, had I just been teleported somewhere else? And I went back up the steps, and the 2 NPCs were still there, turned around, looked down, and it was just gone. So within minutes of the character creation progress, I'd fallen through the world and bugged out a location.
Yeah.
So I'm not quite sure where this mostly positive review rating is coming from.
Yeah.
And of course you were talking about, what was it that they're trying to monetize?
Oh, yes.
The
Basically,
bugs.
Fallout 76 is the one multiplayer game, because when it comes to single players, it's down to your own prerogative, in my opinion. You're not harming other players, it's your own fun. But in Fallout 76 was the first multiplayer game I had to use exploits just in order to play the game normally.
Because of your bugged inventory, that you couldn't, your carry weight was...
Basically, my carry weight capacity was wasn't even 0, it was negative. So I couldn't even run. Like, I was permanently over-encumbered. Yeah. So in order to be able to play the game as it was meant to be played, you had to install an exploit. No, you don't have to install. It's just things you can do through the game.
Oh, through the console.
And they fixed it now, so I'll say how to do it, because they fixed it. But basically, you would take out the power armor and put back on. Take out, put back on, and that would increase infinitely how much you could carry.
So there was a bug.
Yes.
That allowed you to fix your carrying capacity.
Fix my other bug.
And what did Bethesda do about that?
Bethesda fixed the exploit that allowed me to run normally in the game.
But they didn't fix the bug.
They didn't fix the bug that permanently over-encumbered me, so... Because they have been trying to monetizing carrying capacities and storage boxes and so on.
Go into the Atom shop and buy upgrades for your carrying capacity.
Yes, and I quit the game after that because for starts, I couldn't run. But it's just the fact that, this game has bugs that if they were a person, they were of legal drinking age.
Yeah.
Literally.
And they're still there.
And they rushed to fix this one exploit, which was actually fixing another problem, just in order to try and monetize it.
Yeah. So
I just quit the game.
So business as usual for Bethesda, basically.
Yeah, I just quit the game until the Wastelanders patch, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I ran into bugs the second I left the vault. I started on the whole Wastelander main quest line.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
I mean, it looked good-ish. I mean, the characters still look like a dog's dinner. Certain things about it are incredibly ugly, but it doesn't look that bad overall. But I just wasn't feeling it, even with the introduction of the Wastelander patch. So I reinstalled Fallout 4. I'll see if I can get some footage running in the background here on the green screen. Mm-hmm. Modded the shit out of it. And it crashes less than Fallout 76. Yeah. It looks better, it plays better.
The thing is, because it's running the same engine, Bethesda has been very, stubborn to upgrade their engines.
Yeah, so Fallout 76 is basically a modded version of Fallout 4, complete with all of the bugs from Fallout 4, but of course the community has patched most of the bugs in Fallout 4, so you can still play it, and it works.
But it's very interesting because when did Fallout 4 came out? In 2015, 2014?
Yeah, it must be a 4 or 5 year old game.
But Fallout 4, it looks like it has aged better than a 2-year-old Fallout 76, and I think it's all down to the ambience and the usage of light in 76.
Yeah, they had issues with the god rays going through mountains and solid objects and stuff, but bear in mind that the last time you saw Fallout 4, it was my version of it, which isn't what Fallout 4
Oh, no, I did try to connect some time ago.
Oh, right, okay.
And then I was like, damn, I can't forget the controls, and you know what, I'm too lazy anyways. I was just gonna play something else.
One thing about, and I can definitely recommend, if you haven't played it, get Fallout 4.
Oh yeah.
And mod it. Go to Nexus Mods and install their mod manager, and it takes care of, you don't have to know how to mod the game. It's basically what I did. And you can make it look just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks, modded Fallout 4 looks better than, because there are mods available for Fallout 76 as well, because Nexus is a huge mod site, it's not just Fallout, it's all kinds of different games. But all of the mods for Fallout 76 are just bug fixes.
Yeah. Meanwhile,
but Fallout 4, there's so many things available for it. I mean, take a look at the character here.
Yeah, the 50 Shades of Hooker Hills.
That's the thing though, because I was looking at the mods available for Fallout 4, and I was trying to find cosmetic mods for my character that didn't make her look like a hooker. or some, Japanese lolly. And I don't know, if you look at the most downloaded, the most popular and the most endorsed mods,
lolly anime.
It's all just tits and ass.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's some really, really good mods for Fallout 4, but you have to search for them. I don't know what that says about the Fallout 4 player community. There's some really, really nasty stuff out there. None of which you have to install, of course. Just go for the stuff that you like. But there's ENB mods that enhance the visuals. There's high texture mod packs for all of the scenery and the terrain and the characters. You can download. You can make the characters not look like shit.
Pretty much like Skyrim.
Exactly the same as I did for Skyrim. And you might remember years ago, I modded the shit out of Skyrim and made that look amazing. In fact, I saw some of the screenshots that I put up on my Steam page for Skyrim, and they still look good today. And that game must be 10 years old.
About that, yes.
I mean, they still look amazing even today. And that's basically what I've done with Fallout 4. Assuming I've managed to get the green screen working, as you can see behind me. So I've been playing a lot of Fallout 4 this week, and also I got into the World of Warcraft Shadowlands beta test.
It looks good.
It does look nice. I have to say, it's kind of... I mean, it's an early build. A lot of the quests, some of the quests don't work. There's a lot of placeholder animations. There was this one bit where I was doing a part in the storyline, and it just gave me a blank screen, and it said, placeholder for really awesome cinematic.
That's awesome. That's actually really cool.
We'll get some of that running on the green screen behind us as well. They've completely redone the new player starting experience, which is very good. So I did from level 1 to 10, all in one zone. Horde and Alliance, both the same thing. It's a really good new player experience. And then in the last couple of days, they've opened up pre-generated level 50 characters, because the current level cap is like level 120. Well, they're compressing it all again, like they did a couple of patches ago for whichever expansion. So level 50 is the current level cap, and then in the expansion we go from 50 to 60. So you've got brand new level 50 characters that you can play and test out the actual Shadowlands thing, which is very pretty. They're going with a very sort of Greek, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey style world.
I like that. They are making another one. Should be coming soon, hopefully.
Assassins?
Yes, I can wait. I so can wait.
Well,
I'm talking, by the way, before we move on into another subject.
yeah.
Since this lockdown, I started playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh yeah, that's
And
right,
oh
yeah.
my god, has that game gotten good.
Oh, that was terrible at
It
first.
was terrible
It was
on release.
so bad.
But
It made Fallout 76. Well, it wasn't as bad as Fallout 76, let's be fair, but it wasn't good either.
Elder Scrolls Online came out in 2014, and it was a broken mess. I remember trying to play it with you.
Oh, it was just so frustrating.
But ever since, I've been playing for pretty much a month now on a daily basis, and I only found 2 bugs, and none of them were game breaking. And only once the game crashed, and it was totally my fault. Oh, it's like, what's happening here?
Hello, pussycat.
Come here. Hello, Pink. It's like, this is very different.
There's a little pussycat. She doesn't look sure about this. What's going on here?
It's very unusual.
Oh, here she comes.
Take what they got.
She's not much of a lap cat though, so you're unlikely to see her. She doesn't like being picked up that much. Well, she likes being picked up and carried, but
She's scared. She's like, what the heck
like,
is happening here?
this room's different.
Come here.
What's going on?
I don't know, how do cats perceive the green color as well? Because she's seeing that whole green thing back there. It's okay. Just showing her everything is fine. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hello, baby.
Hello.
What's going on? You have a sniff? Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
no.
bit of a sniff.
No.
She's
She goes.
definitely not a lap cat.
No. Sometimes when doing skill modeling, she's okay with it.
Well, yeah, she climbs all over everything. You grab her and sit her down in your lap, and she's actually quite happy with that for a couple of minutes. But
Yeah.
otherwise, she doesn't do sitting in people's laps. She's not like Boo. Boo will happily sit in your lap the whole day.
You will, bless him.
Right, shall we check out? Because it's been a really slow year, much like last week. There's not, for obvious reasons, there's not an awful lot happening. Oh, 4 days ago was the original scheduled release date for Cyberpunk 2077. And now, we're going to be lucky if we see it this year.
You know what? I mean, I really, really want to play that game. I'm a sucker for that kind of universe, like sci-fi, dystopian-esque, dystopian-esque kind of universe.
Me know England.
Oh, shut up. But you know what? I have a lot of respect for gaming companies that are like, you know what? The game is not ready now. We wanted to release it now, but it's not ready. If you release it later, you'll have a much better product.
Yeah,
And I'd rather wait.
I'm happy to wait.
Yeah.
Just do it right.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's CD Projekt Red. It's the guys who did The Witcher, and wow.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be good. I'm quite happy to give them all the time they need.
Yeah,
Just do it right.
I'm very jealous of my future self because she's playing Cyberpunk 77 right now.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So, in this week's gaming news, Paul Haddad, the voice of Leon Kennedy in the original Resident Evil 2, has died. They didn't say what he died of.
Actually, I never played any Resident Evil. Don't make me do it
well,
now.
the only Resident Evil 2 that I played was the remastered version, and I got out of the police station and into the sewers, and the things in the sewers were like, no, sorry, that's it. I'm not going any further than this.
Yeah.
I was playing as, is it Eva Wong? Because you get to switch between different characters. If you play Resident Evil, you know what I'm talking about. I got as far as that part. I was like, no, the sewers finished it for me. There was another gaming personality died as well. I can't find the news. The guy who did the voice of the soldier in Team Fortress 2 was recovering from a stroke.
Ooh.
And contracted COVID-19 and died this week as well.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a bummer. Oh, here we go. Game for you.
Show me. What's it?
Pope Simulator.
Pope Simulator, what?
Promises a realistic depiction of life as the Supreme Pontiff. Go on, you're the Catholic. What do you think of that?
Roman Catholics, huh? Conservative one.
Bloody papists.
Funny enough, last night I was watching that Pope movie with Anthony Hopkins.
Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce.
Yes, it's actually really good.
The Two Popes, I think they call it. Is it a Netflix movie?
It's on Netflix, yes. It's actually really good. They managed to make an interesting, boring movie rather...
Well, it's Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins. But
perfect
the movie
acting.
could be just those two sitting in a room talking to each other.
It's true.
It'd be good.
It's true. It's pretty much what it is.
Here we go. Fallout 76 now has a mostly positive rating on Steam. So where is it? It's pretty buggy. The business model is still questionable, but finally it's starting to feel like a real Fallout game. Fallout 76's detractors were ready and waiting when it first launched on Steam. Cue the kids outside the window shouting. Bombarding it with negative reviews. These came from players that only put in an hour into the Steam version. I put about 3 hours in, but I didn't leave a review. But a lot of the criticism was aimed at issues and design decisions that have existed since it came out in 2018 and still persist, so not entirely unfair criticism. Elsewhere, however, the community was more positive. The Fallout 76 subreddit was particularly complimentary when it came to the update, and it didn't take very long for those fans to start adding their reviews to the pile. The rating started off as mostly negative, but was quickly bumped up to mixed, and now only a few days later it's sitting at more than 70% positive. I might have to give it, another second chance. But I'm just really, 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 really enjoying an almost completely bug-free and modded Fallout 4 again at the moment.
I am trying very hard the last couple of days to...
Yeah, you've been streaming it as well.
Yeah, I streamed for 3 days straight, over 8 hours each. But I have not streamed in 2 days because the game keeps crashing. Like I'm trying so hard. Both times
Really?
I have downloaded that game, I'm trying so hard to love it, and it just does not want me to love it.
Really? A Bethesda game keeps crashing.
No, it is bad.
You should go onto Fallout 76 Nexus and download some stability mods, which will probably get patched out.
Exactly.
So that they can monetize whatever it is that the stability mods were supposed to fix. Oh, Halo 2 PC
Oh, by the
public
way,
testing. What?
Before we change subject, I have a Fallout 76 poem.
Go on then.
I'd like to share some art with you.
Strap yourselves in, boys.
So this is my song.
It's going to be rough.
Oh, come on. So, blood leaves are red, raid scorpions ain't fun. You're carrying too much to be able to run. That has been my Fallout 76 experience this past week.
It must be Sunday afternoon, the kids are queuing up outside the window to see who can shout fuck the loudest.
Yes.
Kids
Do you want me to
kids
go
doing
down?
kid things. No, God no. No, don't. You can't kill them, Rita.
Oh.
Not in this country.
Okay.
So, Halo 2 PC public testing apparently begins today.
That's another one.
Yesterday. Another what?
I never played.
I
I was. Have you?
never understood what the fuss was about Halo, because I did get it. Obviously it was I can't remember, it was a console game originally, and then they ported it to PC, because everybody was raving about it. So I thought, I was like, yeah, awesome, PC gamer, I get to play Halo. And I just didn't understand what the fuss was about. I mean, yes, the design aesthetic was great, and the world, the idea that it was on this ring world, like Larry Niven's ring world books, which I loved when I was a kid. So and just you could see the ring off in the distance, and the way you know, you knew you weren't on a planet just by looking around. But it went like this: open world area, run around, shoot things, make it to a complex, go into the complex, corridor shooter, exit out the other end of the complex, open world, corridor shooter, open world, corridor shooter, open world, every level was the same. And then you'd fight a bunch of flood, and then it would be open world, corridor. It was just the most boring, repetitive gameplay I have ever experienced. And I just couldn't understand what everybody saw in it. But I didn't play multiplayer, and that's why Halo had its legendary reputation for the multiplayer, which was apparently amazing. But the Halo 2 PC public testing apparently begins, well, it says today here, but by the time you see this, yesterday or a couple of days ago, depending on this. Oh, this is a 2-day old. So 3 days ago, Halo 2 PC public testing began. Just over a month after the release of Halo Combat Evolved's Anniversary Remake, launched on PC, Halo 2 and its remake, Halo 2 Anniversary, will soon be in your hands. 343 Industries is hosting its first public PC fights, what it calls beta tests, today. Anyone can join their insider program, but signing up doesn't guarantee you a spot in the first public test. So they look at key performance indicators based on what it wants to test, from specific locations to different types of hardware. So hey, you know, if you're into it, get yourself signed up, and you may find an invitation to the beta test or beta test in your inbox.
Back in the bigger Halo days, I was actually an Unreal Tournament girl, because that game, okay, it had its own levels, and it has multiplayer, and it has PvE, where you can kill monsters, and you can mod the game. Like, you can download the Unreal Engine, and you can make your own maps, you can make your own characters.
Okay.
And it was just, how do you say?
I don't know, how do you say?
It wasn't always just corridor and open area. Open area. It was more mod-based, like community-based. It was funnier at the time, to be honest.
So,
drink!
Well, oh, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So it's official, Gamescom's been cancelled. I don't think anybody was really too surprised to hear that.
Wait, Gamescom or E3?
E3's cancelled.
Gamescom,
Nobody gives a shit about E3.
I know,
E3 is organised by, I can't remember their name, but they're organised by, there's an American entertainment, what's the right word? They're an association funded by the big games publishers, whose job it is to basically promote the big games publishers. And they run E3. I can't remember the name of the organisation, but they're basically a bunch of scumbags. And E3 used to be a big thing.
Not so much anymore.
A lot of the major publishers and developers just, the last couple of years, just dropped out of it.
Pretty much.
And instead they're doing their own thing, like BlizzCon.
Pretty much every reaction I have seen of...
Are you having fun down there, little cat?
Pretty much every reaction I have seen of E3 being cancelled is just everyone is like, oh dear, how bad, never mind.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
E3 is just a big propaganda event. I mean, Fallout 76 was announced at E3, wasn't it?
Can't remember.
Todd Howard basically got in front of the audience on stage and lied for 2 hours in his presentation. So yeah, Gamescom's been cancelled. I have to say I'm not exactly broken-hearted about that.
No, it's a weird event.
So, I mean, I kind of like Gamescom, but I don't like Cologne's beer.
Kolsch.
Kolsch. Which is the only, I mean, unless you find an Irish bar, nobody serves anything other than Kolsch. And Kolsch, I'm sorry Cologne, but I'm pretty sure the rest of Germany would agree with me, Kolsch is piss. And also, unless you book a hotel 6 months in advance, good luck getting anywhere within 10 kilometres of the event that isn't going to cost you €400 a night.
It's rather overpriced.
It's so...
for what they offer.
Yeah, so Gamescom's cancelled, a big deal. But apparently they're going to do a digital Gamescom instead.
Oh, alright.
So, no news as to exactly what form that's going to take, but they're doing something. So, digital only Gamescom. What else is Oh, Half-Life Alyx.
Okay.
It's the Half-Life VR.
Uh-huh.
You must have heard of it. She hasn't heard of it.
I have heard of it. I never played the Half-Life game. It's on Steam. I got it on Steam. I just keep forgetting to do it.
What do they teach you kids in school these days?
I know. I was busy playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and some other cheeky games.
Oh, you mean the one that wasn't crap?
Yes.
Not the one by DICE?
Oh god, no. I waited 9 years for that game and I've never been so disappointed.
Which
Okay.
apparently is
Let's just wait for her to...
not too bad now. Okay.
Done with that.
Cat's taking a shit.
No, don't tell them that.
Okay. Cat's finished taking a shit. What was I talking? I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, that was right. Alyx. Half-Life Alyx.
Yes.
So there was a character in Half-Life 2 called Alyx. She was an NPC who accompanied you. Really good character. And Valve, well, I assume it's Valve, have just released a VR Half-Life game where you play as Alyx.
I think I saw some gameplay of that.
Yeah.
Just some guy D'ing around.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. And of course we've got the Oculus Rift. But my room isn't really ideal for it, so I've ended up disconnecting it all. And the only thing that it was... That's the thing. VR...
I punched the ceiling once.
Yeah, was it you were playing that?
I can't remember.
I think
It was like a fighting game.
Yeah, where
Because
nothing moved unless you did.
yes.
I can't remember. I'll put the name. I can't remember what it was called. It was really, really good. Was it called Red Hot or something?
Something like
Something
that.
like that.
Probably that, actually.
Really, really good game. But the problem with most VR titles is that once the novelty of seeing everything in VR wore off, you realise that you were actually playing a pretty shit game.
Yeah.
So Half-Life Alyx actually looks like it might be pretty good, but not everybody has a VR setup. I mean, the Oculus Rift is still...
It's rather expensive, and on top of that, they try to make exclusives.
Well, this is what I was talking about, because there's a mod available for it
Okay.
that removes the VR, so you can just play it on your monitor.
Okay.
So I might have to give that a go. Oh, Crysis Remastered is coming to PC with ray tracing and higher resolution textures. I liked the Crysis games.
I actually got that game for free when I bought a graphic card, but I've never really been into it.
They were pretty good. It was like...
I think it was in 2014, 2013 when it came out, wasn't it?
what was the... Far Cry.
Yeah.
They were basically sort of the militarised version of Far Cry. And they weren't bad. They were pretty good. I quite enjoyed playing them. They were perfectly acceptable shooters. John Conway, creator of important mathematical simulation Game of Life, has died. Holy crap, they're dropping like flies. Oh, Fallout 76's new settlers don't even mind if you nuke them. What's this?
They just pop on some anti-radiation suits.
They just pop on some anti-radiation suits and go about their business as usual.
Fair enough.
Nice one, Bethesda. So, players were curious what would happen if you dropped a nuke right on Foundation or Crater, the two new faction settlements that are populated with tons of new human NPCs. But despite being new to the area, Fallout 76's settlers are already treating player-launched nukes like a little bit of rain on an otherwise sunny day.
Thing is, nukes, when the game came out, everyone, oh, we really want a nuke, we really want a nuke.
Oh.
And you would see nukes often in servers, and...
Do you know why you would see them so often?
What?
Because the way it worked was there were going to be bunkers, and you needed a launch code to launch a nuke, and that was the ultimate in PvP, like nuking your enemies. But you would, to get the launch codes for the nukes, you would have to fight through these like really tough bunkers, and it would usually require a couple of you to do it, and then you would get one part of the launch code, and so you had to get multiple bunkers cleared in order to get the full launch code to launch a nuke. But Bethesda didn't have randomly or procedurally generated launch codes.
Yeah.
They just had like a text file or a post-it stuck to one of the developers' monitors with all of the currently available launch codes on it. They never changed the codes. So if you got a code, you could stick it up on Reddit and everybody could use the code.
Yeah.
So everybody was using the codes and there were nukes everywhere. because Bethesda didn't think it might be a good idea to randomly generate the codes or maybe change them once a week. Because Bethesda.
But back then it was, they changed it every week, the codes.
Oh, well, so, okay, so all the players only have
But you
access
still
to
could tell
nukes
people which one it
every
was.
week.
Yeah. But in...
Bethesda, just doing Bethesda things.
But what I mean is, in over 16 hours of gameplay I have done with the Wastelanders, there hasn't been a single nuke. And often I walk by players that are over 200 plus level,
Okay.
and no one is interested to drop nukes nowadays.
They must have finally gotten around to patching it.
Yeah.
Well, that seems to be about it for the gaming news. Like I said, unsurprisingly, aside from the news that
I'm curious about the Pope
the
Simulator.
Pope Simulator. Okay.
Please.
Curious about the Pope Simulator. So, did you ever say to yourself when you were young, when I grow up, I want to be the Pope? Well, you're the Catholic.
Well, I'm a woman, so it's a
Oh,
bit different.
yeah, so you can't be the Pope.
Yes, I can have the collar.
Can the Catholic Church have female priests now?
No.
No, I was going to say that would have been
No.
far too progressive for the Catholic Church. No? Okay, right. So, unfortunately, you'll never be a cardinal. You'll never be in a position
No.
to be elected Pope. Oh,
No,
never
no,
mind.
no.
So the game begins on Conclave Day when the College of Cardinals elects a new Pope. Not you.
Wow.
You begin by choosing a coat of arms, which apparently impacts the course of your papacy, and from there you'll set out to influence the course of the world through the application of soft power, because the Pope doesn't have an army, he doesn't have economic might, he doesn't have military might, but he has basically magic spells that he can cast, powered by faith. So, yeah. The Pope has no military or economic power behind him, but he has other means of influencing the world. Our idea assumes the possibility to use, among others, the so-called soft power and consequently influence the fate of the world and interfere in international politics.
Amen.
So, basically, just like the Pope does.
Yeah.
Got no actual power whatsoever, but
Yeah.
through the power of this, and millions of Catholics, his word means things.
Yes.
So that's the game, Pope Simulator. I don't think I'll be trying it. Really? Oh my god. Really, you're a woman, you can't be the Pope.
It's a simulator, let me dream, okay?
Well, that's about it for the gaming news. So what have you got planned for this week? Same old, same old?
Lockdown. Like that episode of In-Betweeners. I think it was In-Betweeners. No, it wasn't In-Betweeners.
I'll bet it wasn't in between.
The League of Gentlemen.
Oh, yes, when the
Back on the door, watching Trish at 3 a.m.
flicking the bean.
It's, oh my god, not that part.
Hey, you started the quote.
Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like being unemployed, except not as interesting.
To be honest, the thing is, we are antisocial, so we don't really go out very often anyways.
Well, it's not through lack of trying, is it, Rita?
That's another subject.
So I'll probably be, because I managed to get to level 53 in World of Warcraft, Shadowlands. I mean, it's going to get wiped as soon as the beta ends, so I'm not actually, yeah, big deal. It's not like I get to keep the character. But I'll probably play through it, see how it goes, then maybe a video. Definitely playing more Fallout 4, heavily modded, obviously.
Or you can try, if your game works, play Fallout 76 with me.
God loves a trier.
Yes.
Why would I want to play Fallout 76 when I've got a Fallout game that looks better, doesn't crash as often, and has actual story and quests in it?
I know. Talking about that, there is a mod being created for Subnautica.
Oh, a co-op mod for Subnautica?
Yes. And by the way, if Subnautica had a co-op mod, in my opinion, would be the best co-op mod in the gaming industry.
Subnautica co-op would be incredible.
They actually answered, I think in an interview, they said that the reason why they didn't make it co-op is because they had deadlines to meet, and they didn't have time to create the co-op.
Yeah.
But
Well, they've got
there's
plenty
a
of time
player.
now because they're completely redoing the game from
No,
scratch.
this
aren't
player created.
No, they are completely redoing the game from scratch, but the mod is player created. There was a co-op mod for the original Subnautica, which was buggy as hell and didn't really work properly. there was a VR mod for the original Subnautica,
Yep.
which didn't really add much. I tried it, and it was just easier to play, non-VR. But with Subnautica 2 Subnautica Below Zero, which is basically Subnautica 2, as people keep saying, every time I put a Casual Saturday video up that isn't Subnautica, for God's sake, Jingles, when are you going to finish it? It's not finished.
Yeah.
It's a beta test, and they've wiped the story. They brought in, the guy who was doing the story left, they brought in a new story supervisor, and she is rewriting the story from scratch as our autistic cat starts scratching at the window. Ju, what are you doing?
Just at the window.
Hey, Ju, stop it.
She just keeps on going.
Like I said, our autistic cat is like at the window. It's like she sees a bird out there or something. But anyway, yeah. So they've everything that I've shown you already in Subnautica Below Zero may as well have never happened, because they're rewriting the story from scratch. And I'd already played about as much of the story as there was. So the people who keep saying, when are you going to show us more Subnautica 2? When they finish writing more Subnautica 2.
Yeah.
Because it's done.
And talking about more co-ops, Skyrim actually has a workable co-op mod. It's a mod you install and you can play it with friends now.
Yeah.
And it's called Skyrim Together. I'm not very good at installing mods in games, but it's actually something we could try. You're the modding person.
Go to Fallout or Skyrim Nexus.
Yes.
Install their mod manager. It's called Vortex.
Okay.
And it installs the mods for you. You just pick the mod that you want.
Okay.
And it does it.
Because the instructions they give in Skyrim Together seem a bit more difficult than that. But I'll try what you're telling me.
I wouldn't mind having another go at Skyrim, actually.
Yeah, but the two of us together, imagine that. What?
So, yeah. I guess that's it.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a pretty good first timer.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
You had fun?
It's a lot easier than sitting there and trying to come up with stuff to think of.
Well, the
on my
cats
own.
make noise and I make noise.
Yeah, because it's been getting really difficult to actually get anything recorded lately with Rita streaming, because she only has one volume level.
Yeah.
Extremely
Portuguese
fucking
level.
loud.
Yeah.
So, yeah. People have been saying, is that Rita in the background? Yes, that's
Sorry.
Rita in the background. Yes, it is. That's Rita screaming at somebody in Fallout 76.
The thing is, I have earplugs. It's the ones you bought me, and they are very silent proof, and I'm really in the dark there.
You are?
Jesus. Yeah. I'm
Where
like,
you belong. So, if I shut the door to drown her out,
The
straight away the
cats.
cats want to know, why is that door shut? And they start scratching at the
Yeah,
door and meowing
yeah,
at me,
yeah.
so I just can't win. So, yeah. Anyway, I think we're done. It's been a damn sight easier than actually sitting down and editing and recording commentary and trying to think of stuff. So you lot may not like it, but I think it's a winner.
and we can do this, more of this. I mean,
Yeah,
my
we'll see how
body
it
is
goes.
ready for it, if you like it. Come on! Anyways, I'm leaving. Bye!
Take care, folks. Stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.